Imagine a world where the mere mention of a tribe's name sends shivers down the spines of even the bravest warriors. Among the numerous formidable Native American tribes, three stand out as the most formidable and feared. These indigenous warriors were known for their unyielding ferocity, tearing through obstacles with a brutality that left their enemies trembling in fear. Let's delve into the fascinating story of these tribes, starting with the Comanche, often referred to as the Lord of the Plains. Their name, derived from the Ute word Comanche, translates to anyone who wants to fight me all the time, or simply enemy. Originating from the Shoshone tribe in the Great Basin of the western United States, the Comanches share linguistic and cultural ties with other tribes due to their Uto-Aztecan language heritage. The introduction of horses by European settlers, particularly the Spanish, in the 16th century revolutionized the Comanches' way of life. Through strategic trade with neighboring tribes like the Pueblo people and other plains tribes, the Comanches acquired horses by exchanging valuable resources such as buffalo hides and captives. This mastery of horsemanship elevated them to a position of power, striking fear into the hearts of all who crossed their path. As we explore these tribes, we'll uncover the stories of their bravery, strategic prowess, and the impact they had on the landscape of North America. Join us on this journey to discover the untold tales of the most feared Native American tribes, whose names alone commanded respect and terror from both their enemies and allies alike. Through their innovative approach to mobility, the Comanches quickly became adept horsemen. The introduction of horses led to a significant expansion of their territory, no longer limited to their mountainous homeland and the areas surrounding their Shoshone neighbors. The Comanches explored the vast plains of eastern Colorado and western Kansas. This migration was motivated by the plentiful buffalo herds on the plains, which provided essential resources for their sustenance and trade. In this new landscape, the Comanches excelled as equestrians, employing horses for various activities such as hunting, trading, and warfare. The horse evolved into not only a means of transportation, but also a representation of status and power within Comanche culture. The Comanches distinguished themselves in horsemanship, with children beginning to ride at an early age. Both men and women developed exceptional riding skills, demonstrating their expertise with horses. A notable aspect of the Comanche relationship with horses is their remarkable ability to capture and train wild horses. Upon spotting a wild horse, they would swiftly maneuver a rope around its neck to secure it. Once captured, they would apply pressure to the horse's neck until it became exhausted and fainted. The captor would then approach the horse, gently blowing into its nostrils to revive it. Afterward, they would groom the horse by removing stray hairs from around its eyes. A headstall, a specialized piece of equipment, would be fitted to help control the horse. The wild horse would then be paired with a gentle mare, fostering a bond between them. The handler would gradually acclimate the horse to the presence of humans. After several days, the horse was released but chose to remain close to the mare, mirroring her movements. When it was time to ride, the handler would lead the horse into deep water or a sandy-bottom creek. This approach not only diminished the horse's resistance, but also cushioned the fall if it managed to throw off its rider. This account was provided by William Blakemore, an Englishman who spent 8 years with the tribe. On foot, they may appear slow and clumsy, but on horseback, they exhibit remarkable grace, making them some of the most skilled and audacious riders in the world. In combat, they charge at their foes with fearsome shouts, concealing their bodies except for 1 foot behind their horses, allowing them to fire bullets or arrows with precision over and under the animal's neck. Each warrior has a favored warhorse, which he cherishes and only rides into battle. Women in the tribe are equally bold, engaging in riding and hunting, capturing antelope, and shooting buffalo. The Comanche tribe expanded rapidly, establishing themselves as a formidable force in warfare. They were fiercely determined and exceptionally violent towards their adversaries. Following Spain's acquisition of Louisiana from France after a significant conflict, Spanish soldiers reported the unmatched equestrian skills of the Comanche and their apparent fearlessness in battle. The Comanche did not seek peace treaties. They were known for their boldness and resilience. Many European settlers fell victim to the Comanche, leading the French, Spanish, and Americans to believe that conquering their territory was nearly impossible. Their ferocity was so pronounced that they effectively halted Spanish expansion for nearly 50 years. General James Wilkinson of the United States described the Comanche as the most formidable indigenous group on the continent. Initially branded as horse thieves, the Comanche developed a fearsome reputation due to their relentless raids, which were so intense that northern Spanish and Mexican settlers referred to them as the Comanche Moon. These brutal nighttime attacks were marked by their ferocity. Numerous Comanches on horseback would launch assaults on Mexican settlements, resulting in the slaughter of men, the abduction of women, and the theft of horses. When European settlers ventured into their lands, the Comanche would ambush the men, seize their horses, and subsequently offer the stolen steeds for sale to the Spanish-Mexican Empire or American buyers. Although their population was estimated to be around 40,000, each Comanche individual typically owned 2 to 3 horses. In their society, young warriors were required to prove their worth through frequent raids, demonstrating their capacity to kill and steal. This was the primary means of acquiring prestige, wealth, and respect within their families and tribes. It allowed them to exhibit strength and skill in sustaining their demanding lifestyle, which was deeply rooted in tradition and customs. Notably, Comanche women were recognized for their adept and relentless methods of torture inflicted upon captives. Once a captive fell into the hands of a Comanche woman, they would fervently wish for death. S.C. Gwynne, in his work Empire of the Summer Moon, which chronicles the rise and decline of the Comanche, asserts that no other tribe in the history of Spanish, French, Mexican, Texan, and American interactions in this area has caused such extensive destruction and loss of life, with no close rival. Gwynne graphically depicts the brutal immorality that characterized Comanche assaults on white settlers, where acts of torture, murder, and gang rapes were commonplace. He elucidates the grim rationale behind Comanche raids, noting that all men were killed and any survivors were subjected to torture. Captured women faced gang rapes, and tragically, infants were routinely murdered. In the historical account provided by T.R. Fehrenbach in Comanche, The History of a People, a harrowing event is recounted involving the Parker family, early settlers living in Fort Parker. This incident occurred in 1836 when around 100 Comanche warriors, mounted on horseback, attacked. The wave of horsemen surged into the fort, leaving survivors to recount the harrowing events. The two Frosts, a father and son, met their tragic end before the eyes of the women present. John Parker suffered a nightmarish fate, brutally incapacitated, scalped, and subjected to horrific mutilation. Granny Parker was stripped of her dignity, impaled to the ground by a lance, enduring unimaginable assaults as her screams resonated. The Comanche were notorious for their brutal torture methods, including the live roasting of captured American and Mexican soldiers over open flames. Many captives faced castration and scalping while still alive. One particularly agonizing form of torture involved bearing victims up to their chins and severing their eyelids, leaving their eyes exposed to the scorching sun until they succumbed to starvation. Historical records also describe the Comanche staking naked male captives over mounds of red ants, a gruesome act often preceded by the removal of the victim's genitals, which were then placed in their mouths and sewn shut. In another cruel method, captives were sewn into untreated leather and left to bake in the sun. As the leather dried and constricted, it gradually suffocated the prisoner. T.R. Fehrenbach notes a Spanish account detailing the Comanche torturing Tonkawa Indian captives by burning their hands and feet until the nerves were obliterated, followed by the amputation of these limbs and a repeat of the burning on the fresh wounds. The Tonkawas, who were scalped alive, also had their tongues forcibly removed to silence their screams. Before we delve into the next most lethal tribe, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. The Iroquois Confederacy, also referred to as the Haudenosaunee or Six Nations, exemplifies a remarkable model of indigenous political and social organization in North America. The origins of this formidable alliance can be traced to a multifaceted process that involved the cooperation of various tribes, including the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca. The Mohawk, located in the east, were recognized for their advantageous position and their interactions with early European settlers. The Oneida, originating from the Great Lakes area, along with the Onondaga, situated in central New York, contributed to the Confederacy's geographical and cultural richness. The Cayuga and Seneca, residing to the west and south respectively, further enriched this alliance with their distinct viewpoints and contributions. The term Iroquois does not originate from this confederacy. Rather, it was derived from the Algonquin tribes, who were notable adversaries of the Confederacy. They referred to them as Iroquois, meaning rattlesnake, due to their remarkable ability to stealthily approach their foes and execute swift, lethal attacks. By the time the enemy could react, numerous capable warriors would have already fallen. The Iroquois were known for their aggressive nature and often sought to expand their territory through raids on competing tribes. They successfully defeated numerous Native American groups, instilling fear in many. Among those significantly impacted by these assaults were the Huron, Erie, and Susquehannock tribes. Young Iroquois underwent military training from an early age, developing their skills with bows, arrows, spears, and clubs. During their teenage years, they actively participated in raids against rival Native American tribes and, at times, white settlers. This upbringing contributed to their ruthless nature, as they fought with little emotion, driven solely by the desire for victory. Demonstrating military strength not only earned them respect, but also allowed individuals to rise to the prestigious role of war chief. One somber element of Iroquois warfare was the treatment of captives. Prisoners often endured the terrifying experience of running the gauntlet, a grim ritual that compelled them to dash between two lines of Iroquois warriors, wielding thorny sticks and branches, subjecting them to severe physical punishment. This practice starkly illustrated the ferocity of intertribal conflicts and the rigid military ethos prevalent in Iroquois society. The Beaver Wars, which unfolded throughout the 17th century, represented a tumultuous era for the Iroquois Confederacy, as they engaged in numerous battles aimed at expanding their territorial reach. A significant achievement during this time was the conquest of the Susquehannocks in what is now Pennsylvania. Additionally, the Iroquois dealt a substantial blow to the Huron peoples around the Great Lakes, thereby solidifying their dominance in the area. By the early 1700s, at the height of their power, the Iroquois controlled a vast territory that extended from the western regions of Illinois to the northern parts of Michigan, reaching southward to the hills of Tennessee. What distinguished the Iroquois Confederacy was their exceptional ability to maintain unity among the diverse nations within their alliance. This solidarity was particularly evident during the French and Indian War, when all Iroquois nations united in support of the British. This exemplifies the biblical verse that states, "And if one prevails against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken." Indeed, unity can forge a powerful nation. The Apache people belong to the southern branch of the Athabascan group, whose languages are part of a larger family spoken across Alaska, Western Canada, and the American Southwest. Various Apache tribes inhabited a region that extended from the Arkansas River to northern Mexico, and from central Texas to central Arizona. The Apache not only survived but also flourished despite being surrounded by formidable empires. Effectively navigating the challenges presented by Spanish, Comanche, Ute, and American influences, the Apache demonstrated extraordinary adaptability in their harsh environment. They became proficient in mobile guerrilla warfare, utilizing both traditional bows and the modern rifles introduced by European forces. It is noted that Apache warriors could release multiple arrows in a single shot while skillfully riding horses. The survival tactics of the Apache were intricately linked to their exceptional abilities in stealth and surprise, which formed the foundation of their military strength. In essence, they excelled at the game of hide and seek. This skill enabled them to launch sudden and unforeseen attacks on their enemies, catching them unprepared and ultimately undermining their morale. Apache warriors, skilled in the execution of surprise assaults, would quickly emerge from concealment to deliver precise strikes before retreating into the familiar terrain of their surroundings. A notable feature of Apache warfare was their remarkable proficiency in raiding, showcasing an unmatched ability to traverse extensive distances at impressive speeds, whether on foot or mounted. This mobility, coupled with their strategic acumen, enabled them to target enemies with precision and withdraw before the adversaries could regroup. The Apache people adeptly incorporated Spanish horses and steel weaponry into their combat strategies, demonstrating their remarkable adaptability. They swiftly mastered the use of lances and knives, significantly boosting their effectiveness in warfare. General Crook's description of the Apaches as the tigers of the human race aptly reflects the formidable nature of these warriors. Their resilience and physical capabilities allowed them to outrun cavalry on foot, highlighting an extraordinary degree of agility and stamina. In the midst of combat, the Apaches exhibited exceptional archery skills, launching 7 arrows into the air before the first one touched the ground, a testament to their rapid and accurate marksmanship. When it came to the treatment of their captives, they showed no remorse. Enemies faced brutal fates, including being skinned alive or burned, while the children of their foes met a grim end, often having their heads smashed against walls. Their cruelty was matched by a deep respect for those who could devise new methods of torture. In conclusion, these 3 tribes will remain prominent as figures that instilled fear in the hearts of their adversaries. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. Stay updated with our latest content by subscribing to our channel. Thank you.